I wanted to share with you today some tips that I know will help you with regards to moving forward and next steps. Because I know a few of you have actually said that you wanted further clarity on other options. A few of you have actually said as well that you wanted to know what you should be doing first, in what order. And so I'm going to share today some tips that I believe will help to give you clarity on the options that are available to you, basically, and maybe what you might want to focus on in terms of next steps. All right. So if you watch the replay, do let me know that you've watched the replay, and I will make sure that if you've got any questions, I answer them before tomorrow. Okay, so it's about how you can move forward in 2019. I've entitled it How to Smash It in 2019 because I think a lot of us are working at a certain level at the moment, but it is about exceeding that level. And so I'm just going to share some tips with you on how you can do that. So first things first, I want you to think about that target that you've got for next year. What's the target you've got in terms of your business for actually achieving your goals? A financial goal, maybe it's something you want to do in your business in terms of launching something, maybe you want to hire staff, maybe you want to actually generate some more cash. Just think about that for a moment and actually write it down, or just visualize what it is you want to be doing. Where do you want your business to be in the next 12 months? So this time next year, where do you want your business to be? Because there are going to be some steps that you need to take in order to get there. And this is the important factor that I want us to consider today. What steps do you need to take now in your business to move forward? And I want you to think about these things because, as I said, it's important that you get clear on what needs to be done. So I've put on the screen here some key considerations, some of which I believe will be very relevant to a lot of you, and also some that I feel you may already have covered, but perhaps not be implementing effectively. And what I want to share is that these are just ideas. So none of this is like you must do, but they are ideas for you to consider. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the first one, which is actually around time and budget. And you'll know, because you were on this challenge, that time and budget is very, very important. It's also really important that you get clear on how much time and budget you're spending, right? So on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, when you're actually working towards your goals, how much time and budget are you spending? Because it's really important that if you're spending lots of time and money, but you're not yet seeing the results, perhaps there's something that needs to change in your business. Okay. If you feel like you're constantly posting, you're constantly attending meetings, you're constantly having sales conversations that lead to nowhere, that's fine because you've recognized that. But the question is, what are you going to do differently to help you actually achieve your goals? So the first question is around your time and budget. That's a key consideration. The second thing is about your audience. Who is it you actually want to target and why? What is it they're going to do for you in your business? How is it you're going to actually attract them without being like this hungry salesperson? What are you going to do differently to actually ensure that you can reach that audience? Because that's important. Because again, a lot of us are actively online, but perhaps we're not connecting with customers or clients that will even work with us, that are even interested in what we've got to do or say. So it's really important that you consider that, okay, in your business. How are you going to attract the audience that you really want to attract effortlessly without actually feeling like it's exhausting, okay? Because good marketing makes that happen. Another thing is your brand. Now, this is like pivotal in everything we've been discussing. I mentioned in the beginning that your sales results will be directly impacted by what you're doing with regards to your brand building and also promoting your business. So look at your brand as a standalone piece, but also look at how it's performing in terms of your promotional activity. So we've covered that off already, but you might want to look at consistency of your brand. You also might want to look at your visual identity as well as two key elements, all right? And your brand is important. It's probably more important than the way that you're promoting your business because it's how you show up. Whether you are actively promoting or not, your brand is really important. Okay. Then look at your processes and systems. Now, this one is really important because actually, if you're not looking at your processes and systems, there could be things that you could be doing slightly tighter in your business to get results. So simple things like booking appointments, like following up, like keeping a log of who it is that's actually, contacted you about your business, what it is their interests were, having that customer database, being really clear on what you're working towards, having a marketing plan, for example, having a sales process so that, once you've actually spoken to someone once, perhaps you've got some automation going on in your business to help you get results. That's very important. So I've just covered off a few things there, but your processes and systems are important. Okay. Automation maybe might not suit you in your business, but it's definitely something to consider if time is the issue for you. Things like scheduling your posts, things like knowing how to actually coordinate your efforts so that you don't spend too much time online and you can actually focus on getting results in your business, working on your business. That's really important. So think about processes and systems, what in your business at the moment. And then the fifth point I want to mention is your monitoring. Now, obviously, that is important because it doesn't matter how much you implement, the results will do the talking. Okay. And so it's important that you're clear on the results you're getting. And it's also important that you're honest with yourself, whether it's that you're getting, open, honest feedback from maybe clients or people that you've spoken to on sales calls that haven't actually bought from you. Get clear on why that might be. Get clear on what you can do better, because monitoring is all about improvement. And if you look at it that way, then if you do get negative feedback in your business, or people actually say to you, well, I didn't buy from you because maybe, you had too many links on your website, or I didn't buy from you because maybe, your product, I didn't really get what you do, then that's a really good place to be, because you can understand then that next time round, you need to maybe tweak things. You need to maybe change things. You maybe need to do things differently. So look at monitoring as a way to actually grow your business. That's exactly how I've looked at it. And that's certainly how the companies that I've worked for, when I was working as an employee for 16 years, that's how I actually help them to look at things as well. Negative feedback is good because it helps you to grow. Okay, so look at these considerations: time and budget, who you're attracting, your brand, your processes and systems, and also how you're actually monitoring. These are all really key and priority considerations in your business. And actually, I would go as far to say that if you are not necessarily strong in one of these areas, and I'm not talking about having lots of processes and systems, at least have one or two that sit well with you. Okay, if you haven't got all of these things together, then it's important that you review those. All right, so you will probably know that as a coach and consultant, one of the things I'm very passionate about is actually getting my clients results. And so you'll know that through working with me, I'm quite passionate about getting you results. And if you've got any questions, you can always ask. So feel free to ask away. Okay. I want to say to you that the results matter. Okay. So if you're currently in business at the moment, getting results should be really important to you. It shouldn't just be about you telling people that you're in business. It should be about you being able to evidence that you're a business owner, from your professionalism right through to the way in which you show up, the way in which you interact with your customers, because obviously it's about the brand experience as well. It's very important. Okay. So you need to be setting yourself a sales goal. You need to be clear on what you want to achieve in 2019. And I would say that's one of the best ways in which you can actually get ahead. So set yourself a sales goal so that you're really clear on what it is you want to do by when. All right. And write down what your sales goals are. Okay. What is the figure you want to achieve before the end of the year? What's the figure that you want to achieve in the next 30 days? What's the figure you want to achieve in the next 90 days? Get clear on your sales goal. Right? Set some goals and get clarity on what it is you want to achieve. I know a lot of business owners don't actually like to think about sales goals because it can be a bit daunting. And I also know that many of us actually set goals which aren't perhaps realistic. So I would say when you're setting your goals, think about your time and budget. Think about what you've got in place already to make it happen. But you also want to be thinking about what you can do to move forward. What resources do you need to move forward? What do you need to do to improve? And I want you to be really honest with yourself. Maybe you need training. Maybe you need to buy a piece of equipment. Maybe you need to learn how to be better at public speaking, how to introduce yourself, how to talk up your brand, how to ask for the business. But you need to get clear on what you need to do to improve. so that you can improve, so that people can say, do you know what? You're really showing up now consistently. You're really, making an impact out here. Well done. I can see the way that you're coming out and, doing big things, because that is actually the results that many of my clients get within literally days of working with me. I mean, for any of you that did the visibility challenge, I know that many of you reported back that, you got really good feedback on the way that you were showing up. People were even asking you, who it is you're working with. I know for some of you as well, because people notice when you put in the work. So I just want to say to you that in relation to branding, as a piece of work, you definitely want to look at how your brand stands out in terms of the unique customer experiences you provide, your brand authenticity, okay, and also the trust and likability factor that your customers have with you. And I've just put a quote on the slide here, which says, your brand is created out of customer contact and the experience your customers have with you. Now, I'm saying this to you today, and I want you to really take this in. If your brand is authentic and you show up as who you are, and you're confident in what you do and you're really good at what you do, that's what's going to get you the business, okay? People will ask you, even if you're not proactively asking people for the business, I'll be honest with you, people will come to you and they'll ask you for the business. But I think to get even further ahead, if we're confident in asking for business, and we're confident in actually saying what we do, and we show up authentically as strong brands, as credible brands, as visible brands, and as consistent brands, that's what's going to help you to get forward and get ahead in the game, okay? In the marketplace, in the industry that you're in, as someone who is striving for good and actually working towards clear goals. So remember to tell your story. Remember to tell your brand story. And I'm going to actually wrap up now. But remember to tell your brand story. Give people a reason to talk about your brand in a positive way. If you don't give the market the story, if you don't share with them why you're in business, what you do well, your strengths, how you can help them, they're actually going to define your brand story for you. And what they're probably going to do as well is make their own interpretation. So that means that if you're not actually telling people what you do in a clear and concise way, if you're not attracting your ideal clients, that won't change until you actually give them a reason to understand what you do in a better way. So it's very important that you give the market your story, your version of events, your customer testimonials, what you do well. Otherwise, they're going to assume, and they're also going to potentially get information from other people that may not be true. So you want to get aligned and get focused. To get ahead in 2019, you want to get aligned, you want to get focused. The first thing I'm going to say to you is definitely go and check out my YouTube channel. I've got a whole series of videos. In fact, I've created a playlist to help you get started, okay? But if you're ready to get started right now, maybe you want to work on things directly yourself, without the videos, just getting things done. Maybe you're going to use the content from this particular challenge to get ahead over the next few weeks. I don't know. Whatever you do, though, I am suggesting that you look at my YouTube channel and subscribe, because I'm always giving out video content there. And just remember to align everything to your company vision and values. If you haven't got a vision and values yet, that's important. So make sure that you've considered that. Where are you trying to go with your business? If you thought about a vision maybe in the last 3 years, review that. Look at your brand values. What is it you want to stand for? Think about getting clear with your messaging and be really, really sure that the tactics that you're using are the best use of your time and money. And also, as I said before, make sure your monitoring is important, because your time is important. You don't get time back. I always talk about the fact that your time is money, but actually it's a bit more than that, because you can get money back. We can all get a refund, can't we? If we go to the store, we can get a refund. We don't like something, we can get a refund, but you can't claim time back. So it's really important that you are clear on how you're using your time on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. If that means buying a planner, if that means setting alerts up on your phone, if that means setting yourself daily alarms and reminders, remember that your time is precious. Because consistency matters, and doing something ad hoc or once in a while isn't going to get you the results you want. It's not. It's just not. And I can tell you that from experience. I can tell you that even from employers that I worked for when I was working as an employee. When they wanted to do campaigns and just, blast out an email, or when they wanted me to do, outdoor advertising or a radio campaign and spend loads of money, once that campaign was over, if they weren't showing up consistently and they just planted me on another project, they didn't yield the results they wanted. So your brand consistency, and the consistency that in terms of you being online and being focused and being offline and showing up as who you are, is important. So consider how much planning you've got to do, and just get honest with yourself. Be honest. How much planning have you got to do? Do you feel like you've got it under control? Or do you feel like you've got lots of work to do? Because if it's the latter and you feel like you've got lots of work to do, again, I want to say to you that I work with clients who have lots of work to do. I work with clients who aren't even sure of how much work they've got to do. And one of the things that I love to do is to help clients get clear, okay? To help you get clear on what you need to do and to give you a pathway that's going to help you to actually deliver results, because you're so clear on what you need to do that actually you've got a roadmap. You don't need to feel overwhelmed. You don't need to be wondering what you need to do next. And all you can do literally is implement and wait for the results. Okay. I just want to share with you, you've probably seen the earlier testimonial that I put up, but I want to share with you that my success rate with clients who put in the work, who are ready to put in the work, is 100%. If you speak to any of my clients who are actually doing the work that I've suggested consistently with support from me, okay, either as a coach or in my membership group, they are getting the results. All right. And I would say if you're someone who is, challenged with time, maybe discipline isn't really your thing. Maybe you're really good in your day job, or you're really good, on other things, but with your business, maybe you need that extra bit of support. I'm going to really encourage you to look at coaching as an option. All right. I do one-to-one coaching. I also have a group coaching program, which is coming up starting in January. And for me, I just want to help people that are ready. Okay. I don't want to, I'm going to be honest, and I might be talking myself out of business here, but I really don't want to help anyone who's not ready mentally to put the work in. This lady on screen here is a lady who was in business for nearly 4 years before starting to work with me. Really, she had been in business, putting in the work as far as she was concerned, for about 2 years before coming to work with me as a coach. And she learned so much. I mean, you can see on screen what it says here. She learned so much, including apps, including software, including how to get more clarity on her target market, gaining tips on branding, finding ways to improve her marketing. And she got more sales. She added value in her business, and she raised her business profile. And I can tell you that since working with me, right, she's been able to claim even more celebrity clients, okay? Celebrities that are on TV, footballers' wives, right? And she's a photographer and she makes jewelry. She's been able to introduce new lines in her jewelry range that actually appeal to a specific niche to grow her business. You don't have to ask me, if I'm telling the truth. You just have to go and look at the testimonials and go and check out her brand, Gems by Ems. Okay. So if you're looking to make growth in your business and you're wanting to, see results, you need to be considering the tactics you're going to use and how you're going to manage your time to get there. It's so important. You can't just continue as you are and feel that you're going to get results. If you know you need help, get it. And if you feel you can do it on your own, that's fine. Just use the tips I've shared with you today and continue as you are, and just kind of not hope for the best, but I guess implement until you get the results you want. The quickest route, though, I'm going to be honest with you, even in my experience, the quickest route to getting what you want is actually investing a little bit of time and money into someone else who's done what it is you want to deliver. Okay. Someone who has achieved exactly what you want to achieve. And I'll give you an example of this, and hopefully this will make sense to you. I recently, in the last year, was working with a hairstylist who wanted to get some mentoring from a credible mentor, actually. And unfortunately, the mentor wasn't in the same industry as her, and she doesn't feel she's got any value at all from this particular mentor. So I would say to you, if you're going to invest in mentoring, or if you're going to invest in a coach, either make sure they've achieved what you want to achieve and that they've got proven results in delivering, or make sure that they're in the exact industry that you're in and that they've achieved a lot. So if you're going to if you want to get a hair salon opened, make sure that you go to a winning hair salon owner that does coaching. If you want to go to, bring your new clothing line, to high street retailers, make sure that you speak to a mentor or coach that's done exactly that. You need to make sure that you're aligning yourself with the right people. Okay. Now I can help when it comes to marketing and branding. So if you've got particular marketing or branding objectives, if you want to be more visible, if you want to be more consistent, if you want to create an authentic brand and you want to get ahead online, then there's a few things you want to consider. As I said, I can help you in these areas. I can help you how to use social media properly. I can help you to target the right people. I can help you to charge the proper fees. I can help you to manage your time and budget wisely. And I can definitely start you on the right path to making some proper money. All right. So think about your goals. As I said, I just mentioned to you before, think about where you want to go in your business. If you want to get more focused, if you want to get better results, if you want to get increased visibility, okay, then I am definitely someone who can help you. And I hope that working with you is, you know, something that you will consider, because as I said, I'm very results orientated and I've got 22 plus years in the industry. And I know that if you're ready to put in the work, then you will see the results. It's as simple as that. And, you know, I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I know everyone's very busy. But what I will say to you is these are the things you want to consider: your time, your budget, how you're going to attract your audience, your brand, how it's going to show up, the processes and systems you need to put into place, the monitoring you're going to do in your business. Because if you want to have a better performance than the crowd, you need to do things differently from the crowd. Okay, you need to be confidently doing things differently from the crowd. All right, so important. If you want to have a better performance than the crowd, you must do things differently from the crowd, because there's no point using marketing tactics consistently if they're not getting you results. And that's what so many people do. We don't set sales targets. We're not clear on who we should be promoting to, but we're still persisting with the particular tactics and hoping for the best. If it's time for you to see better results in your business, and if you're ready to transform your business and you really want to see growth in your business, I'm going to encourage you today to consider checking out my membership group. Okay, if you're confident that you can do things on your own and you believe that you can genuinely do things on your own, then my membership group would definitely be a sure option for you to get ahead. Okay, for any of you that do want to look at the group coaching options or the one-to-one coaching options, if you prefer that personalized touch, then do message me and I can send you information. But I want to be able to help more people. And this membership group that I have is literally the price of a coffee. In fact, it's less than the price of a coffee a day. And if you've got subscription to various products and services, Netflix, maybe you spend a lot of money on social gatherings or you attend lots of meetings, I'm going to say to you, consider making some changes in your lifestyle to try and afford to develop your business. Okay. And I'm going to leave it there. All right. But I do want you to think about what you need to do to grow. Okay. What you need to do in your business to grow your business. Okay. It's time for you to actually step out now. It's time for you to actually get the results in your business. All right. So have a think about that. Get back to me if you need to. And remember, you can absolutely smash it in 2019 if you've got the clarity that you need and if you're ready to take action. All right. Have a fantastic weekend and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.